Hey guys, I thought I would do a second video. My other video was just a really small update. I'm sorry, my brain is kind of all over the place. So it was just a really small update of where I've been, my 7-month taper and whatnot. I get so many questions on water titration, and I wanted to actually do a video where I'm like sitting and kind of talking a little bit more about it. The other videos are more, you know, like the camera aimed down and me trying to show you guys how to do it. But people get so confused. And I know when I started, I was overwhelmed, but really a couple of things that I've learned might help. So, you know, no judgment. Again, this is not the, you know, most professional video, you know, out there. I don't think there's a whole lot of water titration videos, but again, that's one of the biggest questions, you know, that I get is, you know, how do you do this? So I'm going to kind of show you and see if maybe I can't explain it without, you know, it sounding confusing. So, okay. So I have a mason jar here. This mason jar, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a 300 milliliter mark. Okay. So what I do every day, and what I've done for every day for 7 months, is I've taken and filled up this jar every day to 300. I look at it as 300. You can look at it as basically 300 days that you will taper. So every day you're going to fill this up to 300. You're going to drop in your pill. And actually, let me grab 1 second. Let me grab the lid. Just can you say hi to everybody, Braydon? We have a guest today. This is my son that I talk all the time about, and he's just ran back through, but that's fine. I'll let y'all meet him later. But okay, so you take the top, just put the top on. Envision that, you know, you have 300 milliliters of water in this jar, and you're just going to shake it. So your pill's in here. It's again, it's not going to fully dissolve, but it's a suspension to be able to take out what you need to lower your dose, and then create doses for the day. So what I've been doing is I'm at right now as an example. So I've been tapering for 7 months, which is equivalent. And I think I'm a couple days off on my Excel sheet because if you guys remember when I first started tapering, I had to wait about 2 to 3 weeks to get used to just my medication being water, like being the water substitute for, you know, a dry pill. So I'm a few days difference of where I should be, but technically this is where I should be, but I'll just let you guys know. I use my calculator. So I don't really use the Excel sheet. I only use it to kind of look at what percentage I'm down and to see what my milligram is if my doctor asks. But I just use my phone, and if you can see, it's probably really bad quality, but if you can see, I add down here that I'm at 219 milliliters, and remember, that's decreased from the 300. So like I'm really, really, really close to being done. So each day that I decrease, so remember, this jar, you're going to decrease with the syringes. So these kind of do, look at it this way. These are this syringe and this syringe that I use. One is a 60 milliliter and one is a 10. This is what I use to remove what I'm no longer taking, so I can be at the dose I should be at each day. So each day I pull 1 more milliliter out, get rid of it, and then I use whatever's left in here to create 5 doses. And these are my little dose jars that I use. And all I do, whatever is left in here after the discard, this is the discard, I go ahead and I just eyeball 5 of these, and I take these throughout the day. And my day is still set at 7, 11, I don't know if you can see that, 7, 11, 3, 7, and 11. So those are the 5 times a day that I actually dose. And I've noticed I have not held at all. I think I said that I was going to before, but I haven't. I noticed with benzos, one thing that's helped me is consistency. So each day, 1 more milliliter removed each day. So right now, out of 300, I'm down to, and I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me, my brain. I am down to, so 219. So if I take out of my tools, and again, I'm so bad with benzo brain. So if I take 300 minus 219, I have 81 more You see that? 81 more milliliters that I have to taper. So if you think if I take out 1 a day for 30 days, that's 30 milliliters a month that I'm removing. So it comes out roughly about 30, 60, just under 3 months that I'll be finished. So I know y'all get confused, but that's what I try to explain to people is use the 300 on here is the days you'll taper. Some people may need to do 365, which is a whole year. It is recommended. When I'm tapering, I think according to the Ashton manual, I think is around like a 10% a month that I'm reducing my medication. And I've been okay. Not saying I'm great. I'm going to have symptoms. I know that I'm going to have symptoms. There's nothing I can do to avoid them, but I am still going at a pace that is safe and that I'm doing things very consistent. So again, I fill this up. And I mean, I don't know if y'all would be easier if I just, yeah, maybe if I can just show y'all what I do. So I'm going to come to the sink. Okay, so here is, let me just move this down so y'all can see. Yeah, you see my face. So anyways, 300 milliliters is where I start, okay? And I drop my pill in, and I shake it up. Now, remind you, a couple things that I did learn. I don't know if I mentioned this in my last videos because you learn as you go. Tap water. No with that. I only say that because tap water, obviously, you know, is not totally purified. The more you use spring water, the more that I feel like you're getting more of an accurate dose because it's spring water, it's purified. So that's one thing that I've learned, don't do anymore. The other thing that I've changed from the last update in my liquid titration is these are refrigerated now. I do not leave these sitting out. I noticed that even if it is spring water and it is purified and you're leaving these sitting out at room temperature, you're going to end up with mucky jars. Like the more you need to wash them, which I do already run them through the dishwasher, but I just feel like I worry about germs, bacteria. You know, I just have seen where it's not a good idea. So please, if you're going to do water titration, you know, use spring water, refrigerate these. You know, you can even do them the day before. The medicine isn't going anywhere. Again, it's a suspension. It's enough to where we can separate what we don't need in the milligram as far as the dose and discard it. Okay. So let's just use an example. So tomorrow I pulled the night before because, my last dose is at 11. So I actually do my jars at night and then I go ahead and refrigerate them for the morning. So let's use an example. So my next pull would be, okay, so it would be, so for Wednesday, I'm going to pull 220 milliliters. So this is how I would do it. I'm going to grab another jar so I can actually put the discard in the jar so I don't have to keep leaving the screen. So let me do that. Okay, so anyway, buddy, say hi. Mama's going to do this and then Mommy's going to introduce you, okay? Okay, so now me, this is just what I do because again, if I try to add numbers, I'll lose control of everything I'm doing. So what I do is this makes me just keeps my mind where I'm not messing anything up because I literally can forget what I just pulled 2 minutes ago and be like, oh my gosh, and then I've ruined a pill. So what I do is I fill it up to 60. And again, I'm adding to get to me to 220. Okay, so here's 60 milliliters removed. I'm going to put it in a cup. And then another 40, that's 100. So basically 220 would tell you that I've been tapering for 220 days. So the jar, again, is the days, you know, that you're going to taper, which is the 300. And this is what you're removing out to bring you, you're basically counting from 300 down, backwards, until you get to 0. So 60 and 40 is 100. That's 100 milliliters removed. Now we're going to do another 60 and 40. I know I probably could do it a different way, but I'm telling you, my brain is just not. So here's another 60, this big syringe. Pour the water out, huh, buddy? Okay. Okay, you can put it in the sink in just a minute. And then we're going to do one more 40.
I want to do it. I want to pour it in.
Okay, honey. Here, you can do it. Go ahead. Push the water in there. I'll hold it. My son wants to help. Sorry, y'all. Okay, good job. Okay, see, and I actually just totally forgot, and thank God I can look at this, so I already know. So we're down to 100. Now we need 20 more. So that's when I use, well, actually, I could use this one now. Yesterday I was using this one because I was only at 219. So actually, I can use the 20 here and pull 20 more. So here's 2, that would be 220. So see, there's 20 right there. And we're going to go ahead. Go ahead, buddy. Push it in. Like a science project, huh? Okay, awesome. High five. Thank you so much. Okay. So basically, this is how it works. So here is what I'm going to divide, believe it or not, 5 doses from this. This is my milligram that I'm left with each day. And as each day goes, it's going to lower and lower and lower till I'm left with nothing. So this is what I pulled out. That's so crazy. And it's just water, y'all. But okay. So see what I'm saying? The 300 is the days you will taper. And the discard is what you're eliminating each day to bring your body used to less and less milligrams in a safe way. So really all you need is 1 mason jar that's marked 300. These my husband actually got at Kroger, I believe. There's like a bunch of them, so we just bought a bunch just to have them, so it's easy. It won't ever rub off. So 300 milliliters. Some people always ask me, like, can I do less? I think the scary part about doing less, and what I've learned with the Ashton manual, I'm just going to grab some water here for myself, is that the less water is the less days. So think of that as the quicker you're tapering. I think 300 to 365 is a good number. I think that's a great length of time to let your body ease off because you are pulling 1 milliliter. One thing I will suggest, if you feel like when you start that pulling 1 milliliter, I'll show you actually. 1 milliliter is too much. So this is a milliliter. This is what I'm pulling 1 more of each day. So about that. Okay, so if you can see where the white is. Okay, so that's what you're pulling a day. If you really think that's too much, you actually can do 0.5. If you want to try doing 0.5 each day, so that would be actually 1 milliliter in 2 days, I think that would be a better bet. And I only say that just because the fact that some people need to go slower, and that's okay. So you don't necessarily need to add more water here, meaning water equals days. You can actually just lower what you're taking out each day. So I've just thought about that too. Like if I really needed, if I got real low and got real bad to where I just needed to slow, instead of slowing, I could just pull back, and just go to 0.5 each day instead of 1 milliliter. Now, again, all I do is take what's left here and I make 5 doses of these, which if you can see, it's about this much, which is not a whole lot. So it's not a whole lot. So I will do 5 of these, and it's very little if you notice. Like it used to be way up here, but this is what I dose with every day. And I do, and will tell you that I have noticed going from, I think my last video I showed y'all 3 doses I was doing. I'm actually doing 5 now, but the 5 has stopped that interwood dose. Maybe not now because I'm so low. It's honestly, I don't think anything is going to matter, but in the beginning, that really, I could feel a huge change. It made me to where, I could feel the more smoothness compared to going from 3 to 4, versus going to just doing 3. So, like I said, I think a lot more people complicate themselves because they get, they don't understand. I was like that. I mean, so don't feel bad. I looked at all this, oh my gosh, this Excel sheet. And all it's doing in the Excel sheet is taking your current dose. It's bringing you the 300 milliliters of water that you're pulling, that you're filling this up every day. These are the days that you're going to, again, taper. And you're just going backwards. You're counting backwards. So you're going up in milliliters with this. Think of it this way. So more milliliters you're pulling a day with this buddy. But with this, you're actually counting backwards. So it's 300, 299, 298, 297. I had to think for a minute. 296. So you're going backwards here, but this you're going forward with pulling more. So 1 milliliter a day, 2, 3, 4. Eventually, you're going to get like me into the 60s, the hundreds, the 200s. So you're going up higher with this, but at the same time, you're lowering this, counting backwards from 300. So 300 is equivalent to the days you're going to taper. And these syringes are the amount you're discarding and getting rid of each day, which will eventually leave you with what I have, which is hardly nothing. I think, what did I tell y'all? Like I'm at 81 milliliters left or something like that. So, but it's really easy. Like I said, I refrigerate all my medicine at night. I take my last dose at 11. So those doses are made from the night before. That way they're sitting in the fridge. They're spring water. There's no bacteria building in these glasses. I do advise at least once a week, run these through the dishwasher. I rinse them out real good with, hot water every time that I take my dose. I still rinse them, but the tap water is not a good idea. Leaving them on the counter, in my opinion, is not a good idea. So, for me, like I've come across that it's just not what, it's just not a good idea. I just worry about the bacteria. Most of us with benzos, we have a really bad stomach already. Like our good and bad bacteria are all over the place. We have like IBS. So even just a small amount of bacteria could totally cause gastritis. It could cause us to be off, and not a good idea. So, but like I said, I really hope this makes sense. Like I said, this right here is what I throw away every single night. This glass eventually is going to rise up while this glass, decreases. This glass will, increase. Again, think of it as 300 milligrams is 300 days of tapering. If you want to go 365, you could do that too. That's okay. You might just need a bigger mason jar. But like I said, these each day are going to increase in amount. Your jar is going to decrease. And you're giving yourself, I feel like, a balanced amount, because I would know, like I would just know each day, like if I was not getting the dose or medicine that I needed, which I know the lower you go, it is harder, but that's just not ultimately because you don't have enough. Or you're not getting the balanced amount. It's just, what do you do with this amount every 4 hours? It's not that much. So, it's something I just have to use coping skills for. And I'm not going back on this drug ever again. So for me, this is work. But yeah, the great thing is, you just need a mason jar, eventually you'll need a 60 milliliter syringe and a 10. I do have, and I think these are, I would have to look for you guys to tell you what ounces the little baby jars are. I thought they were a 4 ounce. I could be wrong. Let me just Google real quick. Even Amazon has them. So you can go right on Amazon and find the small mason jars. And I'm just going to look real quick because I think, okay, yeah, they're 4 ounces. So you can go on Amazon, and obviously you don't need that many. But I'm just trying to show y'all, like, yeah, they're small mason jars. They're 4 ounce jars. These you get a 25 pack with 20 lids, which y'all probably don't need. I don't even think my pack was that big. But yeah, so these are what I divide my doses in. They don't have to be 100% accurate. Again, I eyeball them. I can kind of tell where I need to add and remove. But for the most part, to me, it's cinchy. Like, I don't want to be cutting. If y'all have seen any benzo and know a 0.5, even when it's big, I can't imagine at the end, cutting and dicing like all that. I don't think, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, that is a stable way, just because how are you getting equal amounts? It's really hard to do. This is just taking your full dose, putting it in here, shaking it up. It's floating throughout the cup, which is fine. And then you're going to go ahead and remove, shake it up again, and then divide your doses depending on how many times a day you're dosing and what benzo you're on. But like I said, for me, this just works. I feel like my body has been in a consistent, movement in 7 months. I can feel symptoms leaving. I can feel symptoms that are still with me. But the bottom line is, this is the safest way. And there is you can't avoid every symptom that you're going to have with benzodiazepine withdrawal. You're just not. So like I said, use your phone. I use my calendar. I add, you know, for the next, like, you know, maybe 2-3 weeks, I'll go ahead and add another day is going to be another, you know, another milliliter up that I'm removing. So tomorrow will be 220. You know, Thursday will be 221 removed. So the amount of water stays the same. The milligram of pill goes in, stays the same. The only thing changing in water titration that I'm doing is I am increasing the amount of milliliters that I'm removing and throwing away at the end of each night. And that's it. That's the only thing changing in this whole system. Again, the spreadsheet is great. You know, it just kind of gives you a guide of, you know, what milligram you're at, what percentage you're at. Like, I don't know, I'd have to even look for y'all right now. My spreadsheet on here, I think, shows me at like 77% finished. Let me just go back and see if I can tell you guys. I think it is probably, let me make sure that I've got the right one here. Yeah, so yeah, this is right. So if I go down to 220 for tomorrow, that's what I'm removing. It would be, let's see, it's taking a little bit for it to load. Okay, 220 would put me at, wish I can highlight this for you guys to see my camera is so terrible. But actually, right, yeah, so 220 would put me at 73.40% done with my taper. I'll be at 75% when I pull 225 and discard that. So, you know, like I said, I know my other video, the first one was really horrific, and I'm so sorry about that. But, you know, this, you know, again, this is what's, you know, working for me. You know, the 2 syringes, you know, I'm dosing 5 times a day, so I need 5 little mason jars that are 4 ounces. And again, you know, the water stays the same every day. My milligram in my you know, that I'm dropping stays the same until I actually discard, and that brings the milligram decrease down, and is lowering each day that I'm tapering. So again, this jar, you know, you're counting backwards days. These syringes are, you know, increasing in the amount you're removing because the water is lowering, so it's decreasing in here, and then you're throwing it away. Sorry, buddy. So, you know, like I said, I mean, I guess if you guys have any other questions, you know, I'm not sure if, you know, I missed anything, you know, or anything else I can help you with. But again, that's the best way I can describe it, is just the days tapering. These are your doses. This is what you're discarding and throwing away. You know, and you're just staying consistent. If you pull 0.5 every day, that's okay too. Some people, depending on if their pill is a larger milligram pill, you know, they may have a harder time with pulling 1 milliliter a day. That may be for them a huge pull. You know, maybe for me, not so much, because I've been doing it for 7 months now, and I did only start out on 0.5, where some are at like 3 to 6 milligrams of Valium, Ativan, Klonopin, you know, diazepam, whatever they're on. So it makes it harder what they can actually pull versus, you know, I've been consistent doing 1 milliliter every single day. So, you know, and I'm glad y'all met my son. He's doing great. He has, in March, he does 1 more week of chemo, which technically 5 days, and he's actually finished, thank God. And we're praying that he does not have to go back through chemo, that he can just have his little port taken out where they insert the tube and give him chemo each month and just be finished. So I'm really glad that, you know, y'all got a chance to kind of meet him. But yeah, like I said, you know, this really, it seems like rocket science at first. I was so terrified. You know, give yourself 2-3 weeks when you first, you know, throw your pill in. Don't pull anything. Get your body used to going from the dry version to where your body has to slowly digest it to it's already pretty much, you know, going to be digested when it hits you. So some people feel different. I felt a little bit of a rush when I started all this, like just, you know, it like hit me quicker. But like I said, this really, I can't think of another way. Like, I just cannot imagine dry tapering. I can't imagine cutting and cutting and cutting till there's nothing left and just get these little specks. Like, to me, that's not balanced, where this water amount is, it's a lot more balanced than anything. So you want to say bye to everybody? Okay. So Braydon's going to come up and say bye to everybody. So we want to thank you for watching our updated titration video. And if you have any questions, leave it in the down bar and we'll try to answer you. Ready to wave? Bye.